Hello, hello. Oh, we back. Oh, it's still so cold, jeepers. How to type anymore? Oh, alright, so today I have two, well, one and another one. But one is for someone applying and the other one is just like a casual thing. So we'll see. Let's let's have a look. I need to just download the code first. If I can find it. That one. And some music. Ooh. Cybershark, what is up? Thank you for manifesting as usual. Just busy downloading the app quickly. And then we'll take a look. Monday vibes. Hope everyone's Monday is going well. I'm just glad it's over. Glad it is over. Is desktop that one? Yes. What is going on this project? This project has... Wait. What is this? I saw it somewhere. Where is it gone? Oh, detect. You know, the Kotlin linting or issue detection thingy. It's like a whole config file for it. Which looks like a lot of rules have been disabled. But it's fine. I don't see it very often. It's a nice change of pace. Today feels like Wednesday. Jeepers. I wish, man. Yeah, and then that realization that it's only the first day. Feels bad. Feels bad. So I'm just syncing the project. Then I'll anonymize it and I can show you what's going on. So in the meantime, just looking around, we have Kotlin, of course, and Hilt. Jeez, this is quite an intense build script. We have Hilt, we have Kotlin, Parcelize, we have KT-lint, Detect, Jacoco. And what? Retro streams. Interesting. Yes, detect and spotless. I've not looked much at spotless. At work we use SonarCube. And I'm not sure if the built-in Kotlin stuff uses detect behind the scenes. I think it might. But other than that, I don't have much much experience with either of them. What is this so slow sync, man? I was configuring detect reports as well, and Nice. Hopefully this project builds and runs unlike the previous attempts. I think it's almost ready, hopefully. What? Unable to locate ADB when I try to run an emulator. Great. What? This could be awkward. And we're getting closer and closer to stable compose, which is exciting. I've mainly been waiting for that. You know, I haven't dived too much into it yet. But I think now's the time. It's gonna be pretty awesome. And I love that they always have the interop support. Ow, sorry about that. What? Oh, so the emulator started even though it told me that there's no ADB found. Interesting. Yeah, sorry if that deafened anyone. It was quite loud for me. Okay, sync is done. Let's build the project. Oh, missed some stuff. I've only tried KT-lint. Yes, KT-lint looks pretty useful. I like it. Yeah, our project is massive, so it would be dangerous to add that and everything just fails suddenly. Daniel, hello. Boniso, what's up, man? No more XMLs. Well, in a new project, yes. But you know, trying to migrate an existing thing would be an insane mission. New project or existing fairly small app would be able to get rid of XMLs. Project built as well. Wow. Okay. Cool. Just gonna do some renaming quick. Freezing a bit. There we go. Oh wait, what was that? Coroutines. Oops. Application ID, change that. Sorry, it's a bit of a tedious process, but it's necessary, sadly. Pogs. Your pog outside of Twitch. Man, that's the one thing I miss about, you know, streaming on YouTube, is that you don't get all those cool emotes and stuff. That's what is awesome. Okay, almost ready, hopefully. Is that thing? Themes. Okay, I think it might be done. Cool, cool, cool. Stop telling me to upgrade the Gradle shit, I don't care. Interesting, it shows JSON stuff is red, but then it still builds, so I don't know. Okay. Running the thing. Or what is broken emulator? Install? Hello? Okay. Sorry. Whoa. It's showing temperature in Kelvin? It's currently 290 degrees, apparently. Oh, shit. What is going on? Okay, this is interesting. It's like each day multiple times. I don't know what's happening. And I think the XML maps key might be invalid. Oh boy, maps problems. Okay. Sorry. Some Clubhouse talks, and we're mentioning server-side driven UI using Compose. Huh? How? It sounds interesting. I've not done something like that before. Server-side UI. So I'm not exactly sure how it would work. But new things are being discovered all the time. Okay, so wait, let me just see what my location is set to. The US, okay. So it's apparently 290 degrees. I'm guessing that's Kelvin, hopefully. Or some other bug is happening. And what's also weird is that the days are listed multiple times here. So I don't quite know if they're consuming the API incorrectly or what. Friday. Maybe it's just different times on the same day, but you know, there's not, they don't pick one time only. Admittedly, I've not used Open Weather API myself, so I'm guessing that is what's happening. There's multiple times on the same day. The UI is a REST API call, and the server sends UI components along with data. Okay. Yeah, I know some other banking apps in South Africa do that, using whatever technologies. Well, ours is native at the moment. I'm always going to be a fan of native, I think, until I've tried something else to see if it's any good, but I feel it's best to just go native, unless you have a fairly simple app or some really specific use case. Okay, so let's see if I change it to a different location. Oh, there was a progress bar. Are these numbers different? I can't even tell. $290.71. My gosh. Let me just make sure the location is correct. Yeah, it is set in the UK. And now it's in Mountain View, I think. Stop it. There's McDonald's, so it has to be. Well, I don't know. It looks like the temperature doesn't change. And I don't know why so few people like leave out the location. It would be nice if you put the country or the city that it's picked up just underneath, so you can be sure. And I don't know if these numbers are changing, are they? I took a screenshot of that. So if I set it on London now. Yeah, let me just not leak anything. Don't think there is much though. Oh, it does change. It does. Not the top one for some reason, but the forecast changes when I change to a different location. The current temperature is always 290. Okay, yeah, this definitely does change. But not this one. Very interesting. Maybe force stop. Just a bad weather. Bad weather everywhere. Very possible. Very possible. What? So there's a JSON file. Hey? That has weather data in it. Maybe that was for testing purposes? I don't think it should be, definitely shouldn't be in the Kotlin source folder. Interesting. Okay, anywho. Interesting. And then there's also can this music chill a bit? And there's also a more option where you can bookmark, but currently there's a problem with the maps key. So it goes back and it'll tell you in the logs that the API key is invalid. I don't know how I can get around that. But then I would assume you can add like a favorite location or a bookmark and then view a map of all of them. Does anyone know how I can or how I can put in a map key that will work? Google Maps key. Yeah, I think that thing was left behind. That JSON file. Because I searched for it in the project, like, you know, as if they were reading it from file and it's nothing found, so I think it was probably just left by accident. So we have the application, which is a Hilt app, which is cool. And you see the JSON imports are red for some reason. Why can't I minimize this now? Hello? Stupid. Non-static provision. Abstract binding provision. Interesting naming. Oh, we have use case stuff again. Okay, anywho. Also, why not in Celsius? Why would you show it in Kelvin? I don't know. Maybe you just have to specify it on the API and they didn't. Okay, well, let's take a look at some code. Okay, this music is so not chilled. Shut up. So, jeez, there seems to be a lot of stuff going on here. Oh wait, I should. Okay, I hope that doesn't. Yeah, that's fine. The CV of the person. Wait, I want to just make really sure it doesn't open on the wrong screen. What? Can it open? Hello? Okay, there we go. They say that they are a polished Android engineer with 5 years of experience. And they rate themselves as a senior. She's listing all the technologies they've worked with, like Jetpack and Firebase, libraries even specifically. Okay, HTTP, Timber, Retrofit, Event Bus. Yikes. I don't know if that's what you put on a CV these days, like specific libraries you've worked with, but I guess it can only help you. Okay, so senior developer with 5 years of experience. That's what we're working with here. Not supposed to use degree with Calvin. That's also a good point, actually. Okay, let's switch back. That is a good point. I don't know what the Kelvin symbol would be. I don't know if it's a K or what, but yeah, it's not degrees. Aditya, hello, hello, hello. It looks like previous app. No, this is a different one now. It's a one that the recruitment team sent me today. It's pretty simple. It's just a bit confusing here because you see multiple the same day multiple times with different temperatures. So as I guessed, it's probably different times of day that those are listed for. But previous apps I've seen have always only had one line for each day. So it would be fine if you just put the time next to it, to clarify it a bit. Start your assignment repo. Nice. That's a good sign, isn't it? The UI looks the same. I mean, we give them designs on how it should look. We give them requirements in a fairly simple, like a 2-page document. It's like, this is how it should look. Here's some assets you can use. This is how it should look, what it should do. And they just write it. They don't have that much freedom in terms of design and functionality. It is mostly to show off code perspective, after all, and on what they can do. So I just don't know. Maybe I must try dig up someone's API key from a previous one. But I should probably test that at some point. Okay, so I think we can have a look at the code. There seems to be a lot. They are a senior, so generally people think that more files is better. So we have room data access object, DAOs, for a few different things. For the weather, the forecasts, I'm sharing it, yes. Weather, the forecast, and location, pretty standard, nothing too fancy here. The models, where does this live? Oh, right there. I'm not too concerned with this. They implement an interface, actually. Oh. Interesting. So the database model and the UI model implement this interface to get some temperature properties. That's a cool thing, cool approach. Just not sure how would you use it. You see, they don't even use the interface outside of implementing it. So I don't really know what purpose that serves, but fair enough. Places API needs GCP project. I'm not going to concern myself too much. Yeah, so you have the DAO and you have a data store. The data store will just get stuff from the DAO, apparently. Save it will just delegate straight to it, get the current data. Yeah, I guess it's just wrapping it. And probably similar things for the other... Oh, this is the database. Come on. Nothing too crazy, but we have the forecast now, and then the data store. Models, more DAOs. Pretty fine, I think. Oh, and then you have mapping functions from the UI to the database models, which is going to happen when you have, different models for different purposes. Yeah, 3 DAOs. I'm completely forgetting here. I need to open the spreadsheet where I'm going to make my notes. I'm actually supposed to be doing useful things here. What? To sign into OneDrive. Oh, there we go. Copy the template. Okay. So they use the correct designs, that's fine. I'm not sure any of the other functionality, like it's supposed to change background if it gets rainy or sunny or cloudy or whatever, but I didn't see that change. I need to test it some more maybe. Okay, and I need to test it in offline mode. Does it still work? It should, because they have room, but let's see. Okay. You don't seem to be connected to the internet. Cool. Yeah, that's fine. It just shows you some cached data, which is good. Cool. It's all starting to get frozen again. Sorry. Mapper dual input. Yeah, this is the most senior thing I've seen in a while. Just creating interfaces for the fun of it. Close. Okay, these mappers aren't really that exciting. Remote. Oh my gosh. These models won't be exciting either. They're just DTOs, probably. More interfaces. I really don't think you need interfaces for models like this, but fair enough. More JSON files. I'm guessing this was for early dev or testing, you know, to create the JSON or the Kotlin files from that. More models and things. Failure factory, eh? Failure factory? Huh? It converts an exception into a failure object. Okay. Sorry, my voice is dying, apparently. Seems like getting the 3 weather per day and taking the first, yeah. I don't think they use the API correctly. No, extension functions are, I think, are pretty much ideal for mapping like that. Kind of feels overkill to have a separate class and an interface with generics all over the place, you know, where you can just have a function to convert between the two. So I think that is pretty good, in my opinion. And then we have a failure factory, which sounds like my life, but it converts an exception to this failure object. So many different types of failures. I guess it can be good to know what went wrong, I suppose. And then a remote data store. Goodman, what's up? What are you laughing at, bruh? Data store, so you just have a try catch. Using either, interesting. I've not used either myself. It's a weird sentence to say. Oh wait, this is part of Arrow. I thought it was part of Kotlin. So it's a thing where you can have, you know, left-hand side and right-hand side, and you can check if one of them is true or neither or both or something like that. I think. No, so it's like a pair, maybe? It can be it can be one of two things, I think. Sorry. That's what happens when you try and guess what something does by looking at the name. It can either be a failure object or it can be a success response. Okay. So in the success case, you return a either.right with the response, otherwise it's a left with the error. Interesting. And we have more models, JSON files, more failure factory. Oh, that's what we looked at already. We used either in Flutter. Failures are relatable, exactly. Yeah, a type that wraps two types. That's a much better way of explaining it than what I did. Can hold one value but not both. Yes, thank you. Thank you for explaining it properly. I think this thing with this name does this stuff. It's a great way to go about it. And then we have retrofit service. There's a suspend function, which is cool. What? Another failure factory. Like, this is kind of overkill to me. You have so many different classes that just don't have any extra functionality in them. And pretty similar stuff for that other service call. Repo class. Hectic. Nice. Okay, sorry. So we are in the repo getting the weather. We get it from the remote data store. If it's a failure, we will... Oh wait, even this thing returns an either. A failure with cache. This is quite a nice way of doing it, I suppose, where you're not checking the whole time if it's successful or if it's failure or error. You just have two different functions that get called depending on if it's success or not. Wait, what? HTTP URL connection? Oh. Okay, it's just the constants for the HTTP codes. You can relax a bit. It's not that bad. Oh, that's great. So if it's a success, you do mapping things, save it into the room, and then map it back to a UI. Wait. Oh, you map it from the DTO to the room model, and then you map it to a UI model. Jeez. Okay, but I like this. This is good, where your repo functions are suspend, and then you switch to a background context. This is, I think, the recommended pattern, and I do it as well. So then when you call this function, from a use case, of course it is. Oh, what is going on? Okay, so when you call this from a view model, you don't have to worry in the view model about switching to a background context because it happens here. So you can just use the view model scope .launch and then you're all good to go. And it'll switch to a UI or background thread while it's in here, and it will switch back to the main thread when it's done. So repo stuff is pretty standard, I think. With some extension helpers. Bookmarks, similar stuff. Except there's no remote involved here. It's just saving the bookmarks or favorites to room. Which makes sense because there's no server for you to save stuff to. Okay, that was the data. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Okay, we looked at this already. So many packages. We looked at this already. Saw that. Models. Yo. Okay, repo interfaces, fine. Would have been cool to maybe see a flow involved in here somewhere. But it's not really that important. What? What is any of this? When is this used? Like, bruh, you don't need classes for this stuff. What? This seems wrong. What? Sorry. Mutable list. Where did you see that? I'm sorry, I'm clicking around so fast, man. Sorry, there's so much to get through. But yes, this could be a sealed interface. But they're not using Kotlin 1.5. So if they were, then it could be a sealed interface. This code is too high level. Yeah, it's like the the senior condition or senior effect, I don't know, where yeah, people feel compelled to like over-engineer, dare I say. I'm definitely a fan of more keeping it simple, doing what you need only. Of course, there's a balance. I'm not going to go copying and pasting methods all over the place. You know, you will extract it to a common thing, and then you can use it there. But something like this seems a bit too much. But then again, they might be trying to show that they do know how to scale up an app. If this was to have like 100 screens in it, then you can see that they know what is going on. So it kind of does make some sense. But yeah, don't like, I don't know how much experience and stuff you guys have, but if you're trying to work towards senior dev, like don't panic seeing this stuff. Like you do not need to go to this level to be a senior. It's more about understanding how stuff works and being willing to help others. This looks like something you saw on SourceTree website. What are you trying to say? That it's copied or borrowed? Goodman? You saw a mutable list cast somewhere. Whoa. What? That's dangerous. Yeah, that's not great, because you're kind of relying on the internal implementation of the stuff of map to always return a mutable list. Where you could just say to mutable list. That's much safer. That's a good catch. I'm just clicking through stuff too much. My hands are too cold. Oh, jeepers. The coroutine interface. Yeah, also, I wanted to go on a rant about this thing. You should not do this, because that's why I wanted to see how it was used, but it turns out it's not used. So if I do this and build, what happens? Yeah, it works. So those things aren't used. So I don't know what the thought process was going to be, but you should, like, creating scopes in coroutines is very important because you need to do it properly, I guess. Like, if you just, it's hard to put into words. I need to get my brain in order, but you generally want to use the coroutine scopes that are tied to the component you're working in. Like in a view model, you have, please tell me there was a view model in here. Okay, good. How do I find it? Bookmarks view model. Okay, yeah, he is using it, thank goodness. So they use the view model scope, which is built in, and the lifecycle of that scope is managed by Android stuff, such that when the view model dies, the scope gets cancelled, and then the work will stop, whatever's happening inside. Whereas if you were to use something like this, where the scope is fixed, it's only instantiated once here. This would not be great because then the scope doesn't get cancelled properly, and you're going to end up with problems like the coroutines are going longer than the activity or stuff like that, and you might try to update the view and it's gone, and then you just end up with async task problems again. So this should probably not be done. You should use the scope, you should use view model scope, or in activities, in fragments, they have a lifecycle scope. Come on. So you can use, if you really need to launch a coroutine in an activity, you can use lifecycle scope dot launch, and they have launch when created, resumed, or started. But typically then you can do some stuff in here, and this also gets cancelled when the lifecycle ends. So you do not want to have like a static reference to a scope, unless it's some intended global scope, I suppose, where you're doing work, like long-running work outside of an activity context, then it's fine. But again, I don't know what they intended this to be used for because it's not used at the moment. But yeah, just probably try to not do that. Oh, the way he sets up his coroutine things is like the source tree. Interesting. Interesting. Hopefully it's not just copy-pasted. Hopefully they learned from there and can do it for themselves. I wish I could close all my tabs. Let me just do that. Okay. Sorry, that was a rant on coroutine stuff. Again, luckily it's not used, so it's not going to cause issues here. Oh yes, and sorry, I didn't really answer your your concern that you had, where the interface is dependent on the Kotlin coroutine class. Yeah, it is a bit overkill, and it's the vibe of creating an interface for everything because it is generally good, but you can go overboard as well. I guess it just abstracts away how's it instantiated, but Kotlin coroutines, yeah. So you're not going to be doing too much fancy stuff with this because it is fixed on coroutines. Yeah, so it won't be reusable by another coroutines implementation. Rogue Travel, hello. You use the same approach for... Are you talking about the coroutines? Like having an interface and doing this? Just to be able to pass scopes around, yeah. As it's hard to comment because I've not seen it before, and these aren't used, so I didn't know how they wanted to use them. But typically you want to use a scope that is tied to the activity or like the view model. So if you pass them around, nothing is going to cancel the scope, I think, and you might end up with other issues. Add add the lifecycle scope to this and then use it probably. Although I still think this is a bit overkill. I'm not sure if anyone can link me or show me how this is used in like a proper repo. That would be cool because I'm keen to learn and to see if this is beneficial. Yes, yeah. That's what I understand. Doing it for the application scope is fine because that's not going to be cancelled. So you do work there that is not dependent on on an activity. Yeah, that's fine. But typically, if you're loading data to show on a screen, you will want to use the corresponding view model scope or activity scope so that it's cancelled properly. Anywho, I'm starting to get allergic to use cases. I don't know why. It just seems so abstracted away. Oh, sorry. My voice, I'm not used to speaking so long anymore since I'm just at home all day. My voice starts giving up on me. Of course, you have an interface with generics. A base use case. Okay. Yes, finally we get to a view model. The view model uses a use case, which uses a repo, which uses a data store, which uses room. Sorry, I'm missing quite a few comments. My bad. Very much overkill. Yeah, it is. For the application scope, I would say it's fine. Because they do have global scope, which I'm sure you've seen if you've tried coroutines. But they have now annotated it with delicate API. They're not using the new version actually of coroutines. But they discourage using global scope now. You should use your own. Yeah, here you can see it in the docs. Application code usually should use an application defined scope. Using async or launch on global scope is highly discouraged. Yeah. So it's good then to have your own application scope that you use throughout the app. Okay, use cases. Again, I don't really get this concept. But this just interacts with the repo. Huh? Ooh. What is a result state? Okay. I am honestly having a hard time keeping track of what is going on. Okay, that's just dagger things, whatever. Let me just close all of the stuff again. Yeah, the use case was used by the view model. So when you're saving a new favorite, it will go and... Yeah, nice. What? Hmm. Okay, so it just delegates to use case, goes to repo, goes to data store. Sagar, sup. I don't think I'll have time today. We can see, maybe if there's time. A single repo call in a class, exactly. I don't know if you're supposed to put other stuff. Maybe you're supposed to, you could have multiple repos that you interact with inside of a use case. I don't know what's the intended pattern. Is it clean though? Yeah, I know what you mean by clean. It just doesn't feel readable. I don't know. It just seems to overcomplicate stuff a bit. Call and invoke is the same here. Yeah, I'm not against it. I'm not gonna mark the person down and discourage it. It's just I'm saying for me, I have not used this pattern and it seems a little bit overkill. Maybe in such a simple app, that's why it seems that way. Maybe in more complex apps, it actually has a good use. I'm not really sure. Over clean. It is spotless. Yeah, it's yeah. You make up your own minds on this. At work, I literally just you have a fragment, view model, repo, cache, and service. I don't have this use case stuff and data store things. It ends up just being too many classes, I think. And then like this result state stuff. Yeah. And then the weather use case. Weather forecast. Lamenting reading clean code. Yeah, I maybe should check it out as well since it seems to be popular. Yeah, injecting repo into view model, that's what I do. And fair enough, if it's such a complicated screen where the view model is getting too much, then you might want to use a use case or something like that. But in this app, it's literally just a screen of a weather forecast, so this is maybe why I think it's a bit too much. And then of course your interfaces and generics and stuff. Finally, a view model. So, ooh. Naughty, hard-coded strings. What? Why? It's an extension on a context, so you could just get it. I don't know. Yes, exactly. That's what it is. It's they're applying for a job at the company, so they're going to show what they can do, which is fair enough. They want to show that if the application has 100 screens, they know how they would handle it, how they would scale it properly. So as I say, I'm not marking them down and putting like, you know, or crossing out all the stuff that they've done. Should we have music or not? I'm always in two minds about it. Because it kind of makes it feel like I'm talking over it the whole time. What? And we have... Okay, looking at a view model first. Holy What? Look at this. Holy naming. Again, it is because presentation mode is on, so the text is bigger, but... Failure forecast weather list mutable live data is of type mutable live data of failure with cache of mutable list of weather forecast item equals a new that thing. Holy. And generics are also on my list of be careful and don't overuse them. So we get the location for, or we get the weather for a location, we launch a coroutine, get it from the use case. And add coroutine exception handlers. This is pretty bad. What do you mean? What's pretty bad? To be honest, I don't handle coroutine exceptions either. I handle exceptions in the service layer. If the service fails, then I return like an error result instead. And also the view model scope, it uses a supervisor job, which if it catches an error, it's not going to cancel everything. It's going to keep going. So it's good to know that we have supervisor job instead of, I think it's just a normal job. The mutable live data. I know it hurts my eyes. At work we have some people who love generics as well, and sometimes you have to scroll and scroll, keep going to the end to see all the generics, and you just lose track of what you were doing at the first place. What is maths going on in here, man? What is happening? Daniel, is there a way not to use live data? At the moment, I think it's the best solution. Because I remember they were wanting... Oh my gosh. Can't think. They were wanting to implement a Kotlin flow object that is lifecycle aware. I don't think that's available yet, so I think the recommended pattern is maybe to have your repo return a flow, and then you can observe that, and then in the view model you can convert it to a live data, and then from there only the view model and the activity should know about live data. So you could do something like flow of whatever. This would be in the repo. In the repo layer, and then in your view model you would get it from the repo, and then you say to live. Okay, I don't think he has the Gradle dependency. I think it's called as live data. Oh, there it is. Okay, he does have it. And then you would expose this live data property to the UI layer. Base classes can be painful. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think it's fine to have like maybe one base class that everything uses. Like in our app at work, we have a base activity that everyone is supposed to use. But from there, you typically just extend that one instead of adding more bases on top of that. There's a new way of collecting flows from the UI. Yes, yeah, I think that's what I was mentioning, maybe what I'm thinking of. but I've not checked it out yet. I tend to wait for stable. State flow. Yeah, state flow, but that thing itself is not aware of the life cycle, right? Mutable state flow. So that is kind of similar to live data, I suppose. And then you would, in the view model, you would collect it and do whatever you need to do with that. And then when the view model dies, then it will stop collecting. So I guess for most cases that would be fine. It sucks because if you expose this to your UI, you can't put multiple collects. If these were different fields, because a collect doesn't exit on a state flow, right? So it would call collect here and it would just pretty much suspend until it gets a new value and keep on going in here. Only when it's cancelled, it does a sort of exit. So you would have to have a whole new launch for each different field that you had that's a flow. So I'm hoping their new alpha library will make this a bit better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you see I still need to read up on that. On the repeat on lifecycle things. So I can't really comment, unfortunately, at the moment. But yes, I need to carry on with this. Okay, view models, we have extensions for showing dialogues, permanently denied dialogue. I guess if they reject location permission, close app. What is that? If you reject the permission, the app just closes. Interesting. Internet access live data. Oh, broadcast receivers. M broadcast receiver. Okay. Okay, that's all I can say. Interesting. Yeah, this thing was also pretty... A location live data. Keeps track of location. When it's active, when it's being observed, that is, it will get location updates. Seems pretty cool, I think. And then when you get a location, you can do stuff. Okay, so interesting, he's checking the distance between, your previous location and the current one. I don't know why. I guess to prevent you, if you like walking around, to prevent you doing a service call each time you move, to get the weather, Otherwise, if the distance is changed, each time you take a step, it gets the weather for pretty much the same location that you are at. This is all deprecated. Yeah, I saw a lot of crossed out stuff. A newer network callback. Yeah, it loads when they change location. Yeah. I also need to look at the new network connectivity stuff. The Earth's radius. Holy cow, it's actually working out the distance between 2 points given the latitude and longitude. I've not seen that before. Using radians even and square roots and tan. Oh, holy. I remember math things from back in the day. I know things. Eesh. What did you say? Class name for log tags. Where was that? Am I blind? Oh. No, that. Yeah, just use Timber, bro. Works out the tags for you. And I can't explain ATAN to... Isn't it arctan? I don't know. I haven't done maths like that in many, many years. Why? Seriously? You're a senior and you set the title to a hard-coded string. Uh, Render list state. Then start activity for results. Need to move to contracts these days. Yeah, but typically in obfuscated builds, you won't really be looking at logs, I think. I guess unless you're trying to fix a prod issue, but generally you'll have a debug build without obfuscation. Holy logic. Phew. You need to bookmark a position. Like... Like, having hard-coded strings is a red flag for me. For anyone, unless you're like maybe junior. That's like the one thing in Android that, that everyone should do properly. And ignoring warnings about notify dataset changed. And you see, having like a... of course you implement it. But having an interface for a click listener, you don't need that anymore with Kotlin. Just use a lambda. Activity launched. Yes. Whew. My eyes, I just see a wall of text. Yeah, I love contracts. It's such like a simple addition, but it makes it a lot easier. Don't have to worry about request codes and parsing the data from the calling places. Yeah, without Jetpack, yeah, it's also noticed that most of them do use it indeed. Whew. Oh. Okay, so he has different messages for each of the failure types. There's still a lot going on in the view layer for all the other files I've seen. Ew. Do you recommend list adapter? Yes. Pretty much in the case where your list will be changing and updating constantly. Well, not even constantly, just if you show a list and then you maybe add or remove to it or update the text, then it's very useful to use list adapter. But if you sort of have a list that you only load once when you open the screen and you can't change it, then it's not really that useful. It's mostly for working out the diff between two lists in the background and like having nice animations when you add a new item. Then it can be useful. A view parser. So he does have logic for showing different backgrounds and stuff. Maybe I just got unlucky. Kelvin. London is bound to be raining, right? So it shows the progress bar, but it doesn't update the UI until you go back. And then the temperatures change, but not background. Does anyone have a location for me where it's raining at the moment? Let's try. South Africa won't be raining much because it's winter at the moment. I don't know, man. Oh, thank you. Let's see how many kelvins you have. You have 299 kelvins. Wow, so lucky. Yeah, I don't think that logic is working. If I debug this. Ah. Okay, it comes in here. This is clouds. Oh, you see it's... Oh no, it is case insensitive. Okay. Fair enough. Clouds. You're lying to me, it's not raining. It's clouds, apparently. I don't know, maybe they're just not getting stuff from the API correctly. Clouds again. I don't know what I thought I would get from that. Current weather type is clouds. I don't know, I might have to mark them down on this if it's not showing the weather correctly. I really need to make my own version of this that works. It sounds terrible, but then I can compare the two results. Sure. Please don't go outside. Stay indoors. That contains function. I think it would work because, right, this it's an extension function, so this is basically clouds like that. And they're checking if it contains cloud, but ignore case is true. So that should be the case. Let me just change it around, actually change it to sunny, just for test purposes. Yeah, there you go. So it is hitting the first case correctly. It's just forever cloudy, apparently. Yeah. I'm spending far too long on this, but it's intriguing to me. What is my... I can't even see anymore, it's just dark outside. Can I Google it? Open weather. Ah. Oh, they just default to cloudy as well. My weather is apparently clear at the moment. Ghana? Awesome. Feels like 26 degrees. Are you crazy? $26 at almost 8 p.m. Clear sky, fresh breeze. 69% humidity. Nice. Yeah, it says it's 26 degrees there. That's insane. Oh yeah, I wanted to... show, so I'm on their website. Yes. Apparently it is cloudy everywhere. I don't know. I really need to implement this one day myself. Goodman. Rain Viewer app, really? There's an app for that? Of course there is. I'm not gonna go too much more on this though. I've seen what I need. There's a diff utils though. Oh. Oh, so he's not using list adapter, but instead manually using it. I mean, that's also alright, I guess. But this is wrong though, because our content's the same. You generally check the whole item itself, whereas our item's the same. You check the IDs, because then it knows if these two are different, then it's a new item basically, and it can animate it in. But if it's the same ID, it knows it's the same item, but it's been updated if the properties here are different. So then it can just show like a flash or whatever animation for an update. Okay, and then last we had dagger things. Let me just minimize those imports. So I mean, this stuff is pretty fine. I would maybe make the database, or that should definitely be singleton though. Singleton database and DAOs, I think, is recommended because they're fairly expensive from what I know. Yeah, I can. I don't know if I can. I'll need to find out if they want that or not. But I mean, from my reviews, you can pretty much gather what the requirements are already. I would just have to provide the assets. But I definitely need to have some kind of way of telling if the weather is correct that they're showing. Dagger is pretty standard. Again, you might want to make stuff singletons. I'm planning a video on Hilt, by the way. I know my videos have been really bad recently, but I'm making a video on Hilt. I streamed sort of some of the write-up of it. A complete beginner's guide to Hilt, which assumes you know nothing about Hilt and how you can get going, and explaining all the concepts. I think I'm almost ready with that. And then you have binds methods for all of the interfaces. Pretty standard. The only thing I would say here is that I noticed this is included above, but you don't need to do that with Hilt anymore, because it's installed in the singleton component already. But it's not too big of a deal. And surprise, surprise, I saw earlier that we actually have some unit tests. We only have the example instrumented one left, whereas there are actually tests for the data stores and mappers, use cases, and repos, which is pretty nice. I would only add tests for the view model. There's not tests, right? No, there's no view model test, so you should definitely test view model as well. But this is already very good compared to some other stuff. Let's just make sure they work, though. Yeah, no UI tests, unfortunately. Can't wait to watch. Thank you. Hopefully it will be helpful. My hands are freezing. The temperature here is Joburg weather. Yeah, it's 8 degrees at the moment. A bit chilly, and all the tests, hey, did not run apparently. What? Come on, bruh. What? Please, can I just run the tests? Android Studio is a bit flimsy at times, I guess. Oh, sorry, you're asking about the testing stuff. So I noticed they use Mach-K, which is great. I've started using Mach-K a bit in some of my Kotlin backend things, in my personal projects, and it's really awesome because it supports all of the Kotlin features. Like there's coroutines and supports mocking out object methods. Okay. Cluent. I've not seen that before. But yeah, actually not JUnit, which is I think a world first. What? Should be equal to. Wait, they're mocking hilt dependencies. Where did you see that? Am I blind? Oh wait, first of all. Oh, come on, man. Stop being difficult. It's used by another process. Windows dev is sometimes a bit annoying. It's more expressive. I've not used Google Truth really. I'm a JUnit kind of person. Okay, stop warning me about JDK things. Gradle T dot. Huh? Why are the tests having problems running? It can't run tests for some reason. I don't know what's the cause of that. It just says they weren't received. And when I run it on terminal, it just says successful in 4 seconds, so clearly none of them even run. What is this? Oh, wait, huh? It is using JUnit and something else. Didn't they use run blocking? They use the unit. The library Mach-K has coroutine support, so I don't think you really need to. Yes, I'm misunderstanding. this co everything is like Mockito whenever, except with coroutine. So this can call suspend inside here, which is strange because that's not even a suspending function. But just like whenever dispatches.io is called, then return some stuff. And then they use this stuff is like JUnit 5 things, but then they don't use JUnit 5 to do assertions. Interesting. Run. Oh, the test created. I don't know how I would see that. I don't know if the run configuration is broken. But probably not. Take out that task, maybe. I don't know why it's not working. Sad. Wait. So the... Okay, it's good we found out that this coroutine stuff is not used. Like this class and interface, because you do not want to use real dispatches in the tests. Otherwise, you're going to be running stuff concurrently and then the test finishes before the thing finishes. So you should just be using unconfined dispatcher. But yeah, this can be removed because that stuff was not even used anyway. Well, I think I'm pretty much done. I have seen what I need to. There was a lot. How long have we been going even? Almost 2 hours. Why? 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 Oh. Showing temperature in Kelvin as well. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay, well, I'm done with that one. I just needed to maybe make some notes, but there's so much admin to do. I think I'll do it after. So the next one I want to check was I don't have the thing bookmarked. Was sent by a friend and colleague. He wanted me to check it out, but I have not bookmarked it. Oh wait, I can just open Microsoft Teams quick and find out. Cool. Download. So I don't know if he's in the chat and wants to stay anonymous or whatever, that's fine. But I'm just gonna go through this quick. Was it this one? Yes. Uh, cool, doing Gradle sync. Cool. Sync was pretty fast, so let's build. It seems Kelvin is the default. Okay, so you can just say like query parameter units equals Celsius or whatever it might be. I don't know. Kelvin is so hard because you don't use that day-to-day life. So like is 295 warm or cold, and then you have to minus 273 in your head quickly, and oof. Huh. So just renaming again for anonymizing purposes. Uh, yes, 273. Then you have to minus that whenever you read the temperature. Uh-huh. I hope I'm not breaking everything by doing renames. It always is a bit worrying. But it's sort of been alright in the past. Ah. What? Hmm. Okay, I did break something on the build. No, what did I forget to change? Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's complaining about data binding something. Oh my gosh. Illegal argument exception. Couldn't make a guess for that binding class. But why? Oh. Maybe this is it. It always feels so dodgy. Yep. Okay, cool, that fixed it. I just forgot to rename a folder somewhere. Cool, and just searching for a few things. All right. Okay, running it. When in doubt, Gradle clean, invalidate, and restart. Indeed, it is often very helpful. Richards Bay. Um, I don't know if I'm missing something, but it's... okay. Getting messages on WhatsApp. Okay, so that API key you put wouldn't work. I need a different one. I'll just borrow it from the previous project. There seems to be a separate endpoint for current weather and another one for forecast. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah, I've seen all the apps. They have normally two endpoints that they use. So that makes sense. Uh, this one maybe? What is this? Hey? Why is it... No. Why is it in full screen mode suddenly by itself? I don't know. Okay, testing with a different API key. I still see nothing. Check the logs. I don't see anything in the logs. I just see a blank screen that says Richards Bay is cloudy. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I hate Windows problems, man. Cannot access the file because it's used by another process. My word. Breathe slowly. Just Android Life, restarting IDE every 10 minutes. Yeah, Gretel might have been up to some nonsense in the background. I do not know. Yeah, man, I'm not seeing any luck at the moment, unfortunately. I changed the API key. At least I think I borrowed this one correctly. Oh, maybe not. Please hold. Oh, it is that one. Yeah, I did. I got the API key from the previous one. Oh, you sent me a new one. Thank you. Yeah, I borrowed it from the previous app I looked at, but maybe it's not allowed. Mm-hmm. Ah, there you go. Nice. Okay, thank you. That works. Cool. So let me just not leak your secrets. Um, and it actually shows the location name as well. Thank you. Wait, does it? Okay, thanks. I I do need to have a look at this weather API in more detail. I guess it wouldn't hurt my to write my own version of this. Maybe stream it. Okay, so this app is not part of the normal reviews that I do, so it is not supposed to look the same. So, what is Nima? Is that the location? Is that a name? Because I'm trying to set it to Joburg and it still showed that. But it's cool and it shows me intermittent clouds, which is what I saw on the site earlier. But 26 degrees is a bit not correct. It's like 8 degrees at the moment. So I don't know where that 26 comes from. But it looks cool. Sorry, my phone is distracting me a bit. Is it, maybe if you can message me, if it's only for a fixed location? Or if it gets your current location, I'm not sure. Maybe that's what it is, maybe it's a fixed location. Cool, so... Sorry, I just reformatted because it's a bit easier to see when the text is so big. So you have... Oh, come on. Is there only one parameter? Yeah. 5-day forecast. Seems good. As I say, I've not used this API myself, so I can't comment on how it works. But the nice, good data classes and actually mapping the properties, which is nice, so you don't have like properties with capital letters and stuff, which is sure a minor thing for coding conventions, but it just ends up looking much neater. Oh, you Googled it. It's in Ghana. Thank you. Thank you. So, oops, format. Location info. So is this like a service class, I think? Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that's calling the retrofit service. Might want to rename this to like service or something instead of model. Maybe it's just a personal preference thing. But it seems good. Just calling the service. If I remember correctly, so, okay, wait, maybe call. Await? Yes. Okay, so there's a... If you want to use coroutines... okay, I'm in format there. So it's obviously red because we're not in the suspend function, but... You can, instead of enqueuing with all these callbacks inside here, you can say await on the call itself, and then it will just return you the data. And I'm assuming it will throw an exception if there's an error. Yeah. It will throw some kind of exception, so you could look at that if you want to. If you like coroutines, instead of enqueue, you can use await. But then you have to make stuff suspending, so it's up to you. But it seems good. Handling errors and that kind of stuff, and yeah, if there's a null body, handling it as an error, that's cool. And then you have an interface for it. I would maybe, yeah, as I say, with coroutines, it's kind of makes callbacks not necessary anymore. So you could have it like this, where it's a suspend function, and instead of having a callback, you could just like return the data that you need. And now you might want to wrap that in, I'm guessing that's what this is. No, that's just a callback. So you could have like a service result class. Whoops. And then this thing would either have an error inside of it, or it would have the data. Because then you don't need to have callbacks, because it just makes stuff a lot less fluent, I guess. But it's cool. So if I can format this retrofit. Okay, so I guess that's a parameter that other guy needed to use, which was telling it to use metric units instead of Kelvin, which would have made stuff a lot easier to read. Okay, so you're not using the 12 hourly, but you use the hourly forecast and getting stuff for a location in 5 days. Cool, cool, cool. Talking too much still, my voice is going. Manual DI, yes, he mentioned to me he wants to look at HILT in future and then add it to this. So yeah, keep in mind this isn't a normal assessment. So it's not supposed to look the same with all those fancy backgrounds and whatever. Okay, we have interceptor for adding the query parameter. But is this necessary? Because I saw it was passed through here as well. The API key, so maybe one of them isn't necessary anymore. Again, I don't know how these APIs work. Cool, and then basically a singleton to hold on to the service instance, which is cool. It's, yeah, when you add Hilt or something, you could pretty much get rid of this, because you can mark it as a singleton and then it will manage the life cycle for you. And you have, yeah, all this double locking stuff, or double checks and synchronization. I forget the proper terms. But yeah, this is pretty much standard retrofit. And then in the main activity, oops. Wait, what is this red? Is it just a warning about permissions? Okay, so I'm guessing it did ask me for permissions, right? So that warning is maybe just not necessary. Yeah, it did ask, okay. And then you get the data once you accept it. Cool, so sorry, I missed that. Kotlin's own result. Yes, you can also use that. Result.kt. Yeah, it's like a wrapper class that can either hold some data or it can hold an exception if something failed. So it is quite a useful little class to know about. So you would create a success and pass in your response, or you would create a failure with whatever exception went wrong. And then you have functions like, where are they? Are they above? Yeah, sorry, lots of fast scrolling there, but isn't there an on success or something? Yeah, okay, it's the last thing in the file. I skipped it. So then you would say result on success, and then handle it, and then on failure, show an error, I guess. But anyway, going on a bit of a tangent. Pretty useful class to know about. Good to know how to do manual DI. Yes, it is. I feel it's good. You need to go through the pain of writing factories and convenience constructors to appreciate the magic that goes on behind the scenes for you. You need to know that, oh boy, if I add a parameter here, I'm gonna have to update the factory and stuff. So it is useful, yes, to be able to appreciate it. Is Kotlin's lazy delegate thread safe? I think it is. Sorry, where did you see that? Which class was I in earlier? This one? Yeah, this could be a lazy instance as well. Because if we look at the definition, you can pass in. Yeah, you can pass in a lazy thread safety mode, enum. So there is synchronize, where it uses locks, publication, where the initializer function may be called multiple times, but only the return will be used once, and then there's none. and it defaults to synchronized, I believe. Yeah, the default thread safety mode is synchronized. Yeah, so lazy is synchronized by default, so it could be lazy where you just do that, I think. By lazy. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good spot. You could get rid of the manual locking and or synchronization because lazy takes care of it. Cool. So in the main activity, yeah, this is deprecated now. You just remove the of part pretty much. Oh, view model provider. Yeah, that one. Where you just create a new instance of view model provider and you say .get. Or when you add hilt, you'll be able to initialize it in here. Even now you could actually, yeah, because you have an empty constructor, so you could say make it a val by view models. Oh, the activity. Okay, you need to add the dependency on the activity KTX library, I think it is. And then you'll be able to write the function like that, and then you won't need to manually set it. And when you add hilt support, nothing will change with this, which is pretty awesome. You'll just say this is an Android entry point here. Anyway. Going on a bit of a tangent again. I'll check WhatsApp actually. So you say it gets the current location of the fused client, but I don't think it's working. Because I've set my location to London, and if I open the maps, it does indeed take me to London. So I don't know, there might still be a hard-coded location somewhere for Ghana. Using recycle view decorations, pretty sick. Starting a browser, where do you do that? Oh, you can click on it. Look at that. Okay, that's cool. And then it takes you to the full report for that. That's nice. I've not seen anyone else do that. Very nice. I don't know if you maybe want to make it a bit more apparent that you can click on it. Somehow. Show the user that they can click on it. Okay, so setting. Yeah, so you do set up location stuff. So I think there's maybe a leftover hard-coded thing somewhere. Yes, today you learned lazy had arguments. Yep. I think generally, though, it's probably best to be thread safe. Anyway. So you do, yeah, you do stuff for the current location. Maybe there's just something missing. And then permissions, live data, English name. And we can remove, you can simplify that a bit with the lambda. I'm guessing that's the degree symbol. But that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Another lambda. I love alt entering stuff. Feels so rewarding. Okay, but that's good. Yeah, using live data is always a plus, because then we don't run into the issues of updating views after the thing has has been killed. Data formatting, one of the most boring things, but necessary. What is this? Huh? What is saying this could be null? Yeah. And we saw this for callbacks. Cool, view model stuff. So you call this once the location changes, and you show loading, and then you get stuff from the service. Okay, I guess this is technically more of a repo. Yeah, okay, I guess I called this a service earlier, but it's, I guess, a repo class, which then calls the service. So I would recommend renaming it to like repository or something. And then you'll be able to get rid of the parameter here once you have hilt, because you can add it as a constructor parameter, just to simplify things a bit. And then when you get a success, you hide loading, and yeah, just post the location. Similar stuff here, I would imagine. Try parse. Try hard or try parse? It doesn't look like it. Anywho. Wait, where's this file gone now? Yeah, here. Yeah, so showing loading and just updating it. Nice. Yeah, so as you mentioned, it's generally not it's generally, I suppose, not intended to expose immutable live data, because this is, yeah, so something like this here is only updated from within the view model. So you don't want places outside of this class to be updating it. So it would be good to make it a private, and then what you can do is you say, and I'll just make the function, I guess, get this thing equals to that, and then you can alt enter to specify the type. So you would just make it, you would expose it as a live data only, so it's not mutable outside of this class. That makes sense. And then on the activity, I would just have to change that. Yeah. Since only this class updates the live data, it can be private, and then you have a function that you specifically say the type is a normal live data. It looks a bit silly, but it's just, at the end of the day, trying to keep as much stuff private as possible and not allowing other people to change it. Okay, yeah, JDK 1.8 possible. We can't have nice things. We know this. Yeah, the only thing I would suggest is, as I mentioned earlier with the coroutines, to remove callbacks. because it's just not necessary anymore. You could have like data, which you would get from the repo. You would say get location key or whatever. You would pass in the data like that. This would be a suspend function. Or it would be like a response, and you would say if response.successful, typing too fast, show data, otherwise, show error. Because now it's all happening sequentially and you don't have callbacks, and it's a bit easier to see what's happening. You would also have a... I think you're also missing another dependency on whatever gives view model scope. I'm not sure which KTX one that is, but you would launch a coroutine here and call the service. Then while the service is going, it would pretty much just suspend the coroutine, so it's not taking up resources. Like, it goes to sleep until the response comes back. Then the coroutine is resumed, and you just check the response and do stuff like that. I need to go get supper soon. It's 8:30 already. I haven't eaten. Yeah, so you say any reason for using a function instead of a val. I mean, it's either you define a function or you define a property. So, okay, let me just make the private one with an underscore, and then you would say that thing and then give it a type. And that conflicts, of course. So there's two ways you could specify it. You could do it like that, or you could have a explicit get getter like that. And they are kind of the same but kind of different, because this just ends up generating a function. What I like to do often is... why? I guess... because there's red in the file. It's just being stupid. You can view the Kotlin bytecode and you can decompile to Java. Just bear with me here. And then you can see, I just want to check, so live data 1. Oh, jeez. Oh, interesting. So the first approach, where you just assign it to the field directly, ends up creating a whole separate field and a getter for that field. Whereas live data 2 will only create a getter. And it returns, yeah, it just casts it down to a live data and returns the private field. So I guess that's, for me, why I made a function, because it's kind of exactly the same as this. It has the same effect whether you create it with a getter or with a manual function. So maybe it just comes down to preference, which one you prefer to look at. But I would say try to avoid this one, because it ends up creating the field and the method, and it's just kind of unnecessary overhead, because we're doing it just for correctness, I suppose, of making the mutable stuff private. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it's not really a noticeable difference. It's not like it's going to take 5 seconds to open the screen because you added this field. So these days, devices are powerful. We have lots of processing power, memory. So in this case, it's not going to be the end of the world. But yes, definitely we should make the mutable stuff private and then expose the live data field only. Ugh. Hectic. All right. Anything on WhatsApp happening? I don't think so. Huh. Kotlin. I know Kotlin. It's awesome, and then there's these weird side effects that you don't really realize. But as I say, it's not the end of the world. So maybe you can learn from it, and it will change what you do in the future. Maybe you see it and you don't care, and that's fair enough. But yeah, I think I'm done. It's been much longer than I expected. So thanks, guys, for sticking around, whoever is still there. Cybershark, of course. Goodman popping up here and there. Thank you. And how long has it been, actually? 2.5 hours. Time flies when you're looking at Kotlin. Oh. Cool. Anyway, yeah, I am done. Thanks everyone for being here, for watching, for those who came and went. It seems there were 73 people who stopped by, or 73 playbacks, so that's cool. Yes. It's good to know the Java. It's good to know what happens on JVM and what happens to all the Kotlin magic we do. It compiles down to JVM at the end of the day, so it's good to know how it works, the limitations, and go from there. Yes. Thank you. Let me just switch back. Thank you to Cybershock. Appreciate it. Always here, even though I know your time zone is really late at the moment, so thank you. And yes, we'll see everyone next time. Not sure when it will be. I feel kind of bad now because was it Sagar that wanted me to check his repo, and I just said, sorry, I don't have time. Oh no. Maybe next time. If I didn't have 2 already lined up for today, I would have checked it. But yeah, we can check it next time, so sorry about that. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for stopping by, and we'll see you next time, whenever that might be. Cheerio.